Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you guys are having an awesome day so far. It is currently 1:01, so I hope that you guys are having a great day. Sammy Joe, hi. Oh, Mom. Hi, Mom. Oh, I feel like I'm on TV. Hi, Mom. It's funny. Welcome to day 8 of our daily devotional. So before I get into the devotional part, quick announcement for you guys. So I have already posted this as a post on this page and the Kairos, or this is the Kairos page, the Granite Creek page. Hi, Emily. Hi, Lauren. But today we are starting to pass out Easter in a bag. I wish I had one with me to show you all the exciting things inside. So we packed them yesterday, and basically what they have in it is supplies that you're going to need for the Easter services. So we have communion inside these Easter in a bags, a game, spoiler, it's a bingo game, it's really fun, a chalk challenge, which if you don't have the opportunity to grab an Easter in the bag from the church, you're still encouraged to do this because it's super fun. So basically it's taking sidewalk chalk and decorating your area of your house or your apartment. Basically, just don't make your neighbors mad, so don't draw all over their stuff, but like keep it to your area and just decorate it with an encouraging message, a pretty picture, something to brighten your neighbors and your own day, to remind yourself of Easter, and to also provide a little fun activity for you and your family to do, and maybe take pictures. And since we can't go to churches and do like the fancy backdrops that we normally would be able to do on Easter, but so that's the Easter chalk challenge that is going to be in the Easter in a bag. There's also going to be a craft and a peep activity, like like little bunnies or what are little chicks, marshmallows. So bad for you, so bad for your teeth. Man, I feel like my dentist. But there's a kids activity involving peeps, so it'll be really fun. So we are passing those out for the first 200 people that can come and grab one. It's going to be today, Thursday, and Friday from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock at Granite Creek Community Church in Claremont. So if you want to participate in that, grab one of those. I will be there passing them out, gloved up, masked up. It'll be great. We'll pray for you from a distance. Can't wait to see you guys in person. So head out to that and pick up an Easter in a bag. So that's all for my announcements. So welcome to day 8 of our devotional. There's a lot of you guys here today. This is so exciting. So today we're going to be in Matthew 21:21. I thought that I had more numbers, but the letter board that I had at church did not have any numbers with it. So we're back to using the Z as a 2, and actually the ones are I's. So they at least look more normal than the 2. But hey, it's okay. Quarantine life, we work with what we can have. So it's great. So Matthew 21:21 is where we're going to be. So, story time with Mandy. I'm going to tell you guys a story of when I was at the High Sierra study abroad. So we talked about a story a couple days ago, I think, maybe last week, about my backpacking trip. So we got to do a lot of really cool stuff at the study abroad. I got to go rock climbing, which if you've ever been to, I think it's Hangar 18 in Upland, it's so much fun. But it is nothing compared to real rock climbing out in the wilderness. And I think, I'm not an expert in this area, but I think it's called slack climbing, I think. Basically what it means is, instead of having like the holds to grab onto like you do at the normal rock climbing places, you basically put on these really, really sticky, I don't know, they're not like sticky like glue, but they're like rubber that's supposed to be sticky on rock surfaces, and you basically use your feet to keep you up. And then as you're moving up the rock, you try to find like tiny, like not even like smaller than a millimeter. Yeah, it's crazy. Little ledges to grab onto to hoist yourself up the mountain. So they told me how to do this as I'm hooked into the harness and as I'm ready to go, and I start going, and I'm probably like 3 feet off the ground, and I'm like, I don't think I can go anymore. I'm so high, and I look down, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could jump down and be fine. But then I kept going up a little higher, and I was probably about like 5 feet, which is about as tall as I am, which is pretty tall when you're, then, you know, your head is 5 more feet up, so it looks like you're 10 feet. But it was really scary, and I just remember having this moment where I was probably up there for like 20 minutes, just frozen with fear, because I did not trust the shoes to take me up the mountain. Because it's scary. It's so scary when you, especially when you have like that first little tiny slip of like, oh, that tiny little crack wasn't large enough, so you kind of slip a little bit. I mean, the rock that I was climbing on was completely flat, and the person on my belay had me really well, so I was fine in hindsight. But when I was on the wall, I was like, I don't want to go any higher because this is terrifying. So I did not have faith in my shoes, and it made my journey a lot less fun, a lot more stressful, because I did not have faith in my shoes. So have you ever had doubts about your faith? Of course you have. And if you haven't, you probably have, but haven't really realized that you have, because doubt is completely normal. It's completely normal to doubt your faith. So if you've ever had doubt, know that you are not a horrible person. You're not a bad believer. God is not going to hate you. It's completely normal to have doubts in your faith. So when we have doubt, the passage today Jesus reminds us to have faith. So Matthew 21:21. So just to give you guys a little bit of context, if you are looking at your Bible, you probably see, and this is going to be backwards, so I don't expect you to read it, but you probably see the little headers. So in the chapter 21, the very beginning is a triumphal entry. So that's pretty much actually where we are in this week. So the triumphal entry is when Jesus is entering into Jerusalem at the beginning of Passion Week. So right before he is doing the whole journey to the cross. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. So Jesus is in Jerusalem right now. So right after the triumphal entry, Jesus then cleans the temple, which we have seen. We know that story pretty well. He goes in the temple, doesn't like what's happening because they're not using the temple as it's supposed to be used. So he flips the tables, and you're like, oh my gosh, Jesus is a beast. He flips tables and yells, oh my gosh. So then we come to the point where we are at today. And I'm not just going to read verse 21 because I think we need a little bit more context. So first I will read 21. It says, and Jesus answered them, truly I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what has been done to the fig tree, but even if you say to the mountain, be taken up and be thrown into the sea, it will happen. So the reason why I don't want to stop with just 21 is because in verse 21 it says, what has been done to the fig tree? What happened to the fig tree? Right? We need some context. So let's rewind a little bit to verse 18. It says, in the morning he was returning to the city. He became hungry. And seeing a fig tree by the wayside, he went to it and found nothing on it but only leaves. How many times have you guys gone to the cupboard because you're really hungry and you've opened up the pantry and you're like, ugh, it's only raisins. I don't want raisins. Or then, like, if you want to be exactly like this, you open it and you're like, oh, there's nothing in here. Chances are your cupboards have never actually been completely bare, but sometimes we feel like it, right? When we open up and it's like raisins or like dried pasta, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna eat that, lame. So Jesus went to it, found nothing but only leaves. So Jesus said to it, may no fruit ever come from you again. And the fig tree withered at once. I don't think this is a story that we really read very often, is this Jesus cursing the fig tree. Isn't that interesting? We hear all these stories about Jesus blessing things, but we really focus on him making the fig tree withering. Weird, right? So, verse 20, right after the fig tree withers, says, when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, how did the fig tree wither at once? And then this is where we pick up with verse 21. And Jesus answered them, truly I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only you will not only do what has been done to the fig tree, but even if you say to the mountain, be taken up and thrown into the sea, it will happen. So he's using this as an example of what faith can do. So I want to make this very clear. Jesus is not at all saying that if you have faith, you can use prayer and you can use your faith as like a magic tool. Because I can guarantee you, if I have so much faith and I go outside and say, maple tree, be turned into a unicorn, it's not going to happen. As much as I would love that, because then I'll have a unicorn in my front yard, it's not going to happen. Prayer is not meant to be used as a magical tool. It is more, he's using this to make a strong point about the disciples' lack of faith, and to translate to how we can apply to us, to our lack of faith. So he's telling them, if you have faith, like, you can do amazing things. He's not necessarily saying that you should go out and command mountains to move. Yes, Magic G-Man. He is not an example of someone who God has gifted with magical abilities because of his faith. He has very strong faith, but he is not magical because of his faith. And you won't be magical because of your faith either. So if we have strong faith, we can do things that we wouldn't normally be able to do. So I wanted to kind of touch on that too, because verse 22 can be kind of a dangerous area. It says, and whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive it if you have faith. So one of the things that a lot of people lose their faith over is if they pray for something and it doesn't happen. For example, if you're praying for someone who's been very, very sick and they don't get healed, and you look at this verse saying, oh, whatever you ask for in prayer, you will receive it if you have faith. And you're like, okay, well, I've been praying for this and obviously it didn't happen, so that must mean I don't have faith. That's not what this is saying at all. And I want you to make sure that you know that just because you pray for something, God is not a genie in a bottle, and it's not going to happen immediately. Because remember, we've been talking the past few days is that God has a plan, and he knows that plan, and maybe his plan does not align with what we pray for. And he's going to give us his best for us, and we don't know what that is. So if we're praying for something, he has a completely different plan, and we have to trust. Going back to, I think it was yesterday's, right? Yesterday was about being in control. Yeah, we have to trust that he knows exactly what he's doing with our plan, or with our lives, with our plans for us. We have to have that faith that he knows exactly what's best in every situation. And we have to trust and have faith that maybe our unanswered prayer is something that is going to be okay in the long run, even though it doesn't feel like it is now, and maybe your unanswered prayer has made you really angry with God, made you very doubtful of God. There is a plan in that. So questions for you today is, do you have a doubt that you're dealing with right now? And have you talked to God about it? Have you talked to anyone about it, really? So my challenge for you today is, if you said yes to that question, that you have a doubt about a doubt that you're dealing with right now, talk to someone about it today. Talk to your parents, talk to your someone that you live with, talk to me. I'm available for you guys today too. Today and every day, really. Not like it's exclusively to Wednesdays. We can talk about it at youth group tonight, but talk to someone about a doubt that you're dealing with today. Speaking of youth group, tonight we have youth group from 6:30 to 8:30 on Zoom. It is the church's phone number as the meeting ID. If you are inviting a friend, please make sure to let me know so that way they don't get stuck in the wait room for eternity, but that way I can actually let them in and they can join in on the fun. And tonight we will be themed for Easter, so you can either dress like an Easter bunny, wear your Easter best since we don't get to go out and get all Easter dress shopping and all that. Yeah, dress for Easter. I think I'm going to try to figure out how to hang Easter eggs in my background. The balloons that I hung last week didn't hang very well. They kind of fell all the time. But we'll see if my tape can hold Easter eggs. So it's going to be really fun tonight. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. See you guys at the Easter bag pickup. And students, I'll see you tonight on Zoom. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.